These idyllic Mediterranean shores hide a dark history. For thousands of years, the most feared creatures in these waters weren't sharks or storms, but sirens, supernatural beings whose songs could overpower reason and lead men to their deaths. But where did these mysterious beings come from? Why did ancient seafarers from Greece to Lycia, the homeland of St. Nicholas, believe so firmly in their existence? The answer lies buried in ancient graves, hidden in archaic texts, and preserved in the oldest religious practices of the Mediterranean world. Today, we'll uncover the surprising origins of sirens and how they emerged from humanity's most primal fears and hopes. To trace the origins of sirens, we must first look not to the sea, but to the grave. In ancient Greece, sirens were commonly depicted on funeral monuments and tombs, singing laments for the dead. Scholars believe that before sirens became the seductresses of maritime legend, they were psychopomps, supernatural beings who guided souls to the afterlife. Their beautiful voices were not meant to lure the living to death, but to comfort the deceased on their journey to the underworld. This connection between beautiful winged beings and death extends beyond ancient Greece. In ancient Egypt, the human soul was often depicted as a bird with a human head, strikingly similar to early Greek representations of sirens. Similar hybrid beings appeared in Mesopotamian mythology. The journey of these concepts westward across the Mediterranean tracks the movement of cultural ideas that would eventually shape the world of the 4th century, the time when St. Nicholas lived and worked. These trade routes didn't just carry goods, but beliefs. The same sea lanes that merchant ships used to transport olive oil and wine also transported myths and religious concepts. As a bishop in Lycia, St. Nicholas would have ministered to communities populated by sailors familiar with these ancient tales. By the 5th century BCE, sirens had evolved in Greek mythology. Writers like Euripides began to connect them with the concept of dangerous knowledge and forbidden wisdom. Their songs were said to contain secrets of the universe, knowledge too powerful for mortals. This tension between deadly allure and divine wisdom created the complex mythology that Homer captured in the Odyssey. Sirens now embodied a fundamental question: is the pursuit of knowledge worth risking destruction? As Christianity began spreading through the Mediterranean world, these ancient beliefs didn't simply disappear. Instead, they were often transformed. The early Christian church in regions like Lycia had to engage with communities whose worldview included sirens and other supernatural maritime beings. So where did sirens come from? Their origins are multifaceted, arising from funeral practices, cross-cultural exchange, and the psychological needs of seafaring peoples. They began as guides for the dead, before evolving into tempters of the living. By St. Nicholas's time in the 4th century, these ancient beliefs were being integrated into a new Christian framework. The dangerous allure of sirens found parallels in Christian warnings about temptation and false prophets. When St. Nicholas became known as a protector of sailors, he was fulfilling a role previously assigned to various pagan deities and spirits. He offered spiritual protection against the very dangers that sirens represented: disorientation, temptation, and destruction. Understanding the origins of sirens helps us understand the cultural matrix that helped shape St. Nicholas and early Christianity. These weren't simply stories, they were expressions of how people understood the dangers of the world and their hopes for divine protection. In our next episode, we'll follow sirens through time, tracing how these beings evolved from Greek funeral monuments to medieval bestiaries and beyond. We'll see how the world that St. Nicholas knew transformed over the centuries as Christianity reshaped the mythological landscape of the Mediterranean. If you're fascinated by how ancient beliefs shaped the world of St. Nicholas and continue to influence our culture today, subscribe to our channel for more explorations of the historical and cultural connections that span millennia.